From the deserts of Arabia to the walls of ancient empires, the pages of history echo with the courage, wisdom, and unshakable faith of the great Muslim leaders who shaped our world. Their stories are more than just battles and victories. They are timeless lessons in honor, justice, and unwavering determination. Have you ever wondered about the minds behind some of history's most pivotal moments? Welcome to Echoes of Salahuddin, your portal to the past. Here, we'll journey through the lives of the legendary heroes whose legacies continue to inspire millions today. We'll uncover the strategies of brilliant commanders, the wisdom of visionary rulers, and the faith that moved mountains. This is where history comes alive.
Hey, history buffs. We all know about Osman Ghazi, the founder of the mighty Ottoman Empire. But what about his son, the man who truly started building the empire? Today, we re-diving into the incredible story of Orhan Ghazi and one of his most legendary achievements, the conquest of Bursa. Imagine this. The fledgling Ottoman state is just starting to find its footing. And right next door is Bursa, a massive, heavily fortified Byzantine stronghold. For the Ottomans to expand, Bursa had to fall. It was like a final boss battle in a video game. Osman Ghazi himself had dreamt of capturing it, but it was his son, Orhan, who would see it through. The siege of Bursa wasn't a quick affair. It was a long, grueling struggle that lasted for years. Think about the determination and strategy it took. Orhan's forces surrounded the city, cutting off its supplies and patiently waiting. It was a true test of wills. Finally, after a decade of persistence, the city's defenders, exhausted and without hope of reinforcement, surrendered. The Ottoman flag was raised over one of the most important cities in the region. But here's what makes Orhan a truly remarkable leader. After this long and difficult siege, what did he do? Instead of punishing the city's inhabitants, he showed incredible mercy. He allowed the Christian residents to continue their lives in peace, practice their faith, and even keep their property. This set an amazing precedent for how the Ottomans would govern the diverse peoples they conquered. It wasn't just about winning battles. It was about building a lasting, multicultural empire. The fall of Bursa was a massive turning point. Orhan made it the new capital of the Ottoman state, transforming it from a Byzantine fortress into a hub of Ottoman culture, trade, and administration. He established the first Ottoman mint there, created new military units like the Janissaries, and laid the administrative groundwork that would allow the empire to flourish for centuries. From a small beylik to a burgeoning empire, Orhan Ghazi's conquest of Bursa was the catalyst. It wasn't just a military victory. It was a statement of intent. Orhan proved he was not just a warrior, but a visionary statesman who was building something to last. So what do you think was more important? Orhan's military genius in conquering Bursa, or his wise leadership in how he treated its people afterward?
Have you ever heard of a love story that changed the course of an empire? Today, we're diving into the fascinating tale of Orhan Ghazi, the second Ottoman Sultan, and his remarkable wife, Nicaea. Their story isn't just a romance. It's a testament to how love, diplomacy, and vision can shape history. So, Who was Nicaea? She was a Byzantine princess, and her journey into the Ottoman court is the stuff of legends. Historical accounts tell us she was initially a captive, but Orhan Ghazi saw something special in her. He fell deeply in love, and instead of keeping her as a prisoner, he chose to free her and make her his wife. This decision wasn't just about his heart, it was a brilliant political move. Think about it. By marrying a Byzantine princess, Orhan Ghazi was building a bridge between two powerful, often rival empires. This marriage helped to ease tensions and strengthen diplomatic ties with the Byzantines. It shows us that Orhan was not just a fierce warrior, but also a master strategist who understood the power of alliances. He knew that sometimes a wedding could be as powerful as a battlefield victory. But Nicaea was far more than just a political pawn. Once she became part of the Ottoman court, she blossomed into one of its most influential figures. She wasn't content to simply be the Sultan's wife. She had a vision for the empire's future. Her true passion was for education and the arts. Imagine a former captive, now a queen, dedicating her life to spreading knowledge. Nicaea became a major patron of learning. She championed the establishment of schools, libraries, and charitable institutions. She understood that a great empire is built not just on military might, but on an educated and cultured populace. She poured resources into creating centers of learning, ensuring that future generations of Ottomans would have access to knowledge and opportunities. Her influence helped shape the cultural and intellectual foundation of the growing empire. Her legacy is so profound that she is still remembered and revered in Turkish history today. Many places, including a district in the city of Bursa, are named after her. This incredible woman, who started as a captive, became a queen, a diplomat, and a champion of education whose impact is felt centuries later. The story of Orhan Ghazi and Nicaea is a powerful reminder that history is made by people, their choices, their passions, and their relationships. It's a love story that forged an alliance and a partnership that helped build a cultural legacy. What do you find most inspiring about their story? Is it Orhan's diplomatic genius or Nilufer's incredible journey and legacy?
Imagine this. A young prince, son of the powerful Ottoman Sultan, is playing near the coast when suddenly he's snatched by pirates. This isn't a fairy tale. It's the incredible true story of Prince Halil Bey, a boy whose kidnapping threatened to upend the politics of two empires. Let's set the scene. The year is around 1356. The Ottoman state is a rising power, expanding its territory under Sultan Orhan Ghazi. The Byzantine Empire, once the jewel of the world, is fading but still clinging to its influence. In the middle of this complex dynamic is a young boy named Halil. Halil wasn't just any Ottoman prince. His father was Sultan Orhan, but his mother was Theodora Cantacuzene, a Byzantine princess. This made him half Ottoman, half Byzantine, and the grandson of the reigning Byzantine emperor, John VI. He was a living bridge between two rival worlds. One day, while near the Gulf of Azimuth, a 10-year-old Halil was seized by Genoese pirates. Now, this wasn't an official act of war by the state of Genoa. These were opportunistic pirates who saw a golden opportunity. They knew exactly who they had. The son of a powerful sultan and the grandson of an emperor. The potential ransom was astronomical. They whisked him away to their stronghold in Phocaea, on the Aegean coast, a notorious pirate hub. Sultan Orhan was devastated. The loss of his son was a deep personal blow, but it was also a major political crisis. He immediately started working diplomatic channels, but he needed help. The pirates were Genoese, a major maritime power that the land-based Ottomans couldn't easily confront. So, in a fascinating twist, Orhan turned to his rival and in-law, the Byzantine Emperor John V. Why the Byzantine Emperor? Well, family ties ran deep. Halil's mother, Theodora, was the emperor's sister-in-law. This made it a family affair. Plus, the Byzantines had a powerful navy and a long, complicated history of dealing with the Genoese. Emperor John V, despite the often strained relationship with the Ottomans, stepped up. He personally led a fleet to Phocia and began tense negotiations. The price for the prince's freedom was staggering: 100,000 gold hyperpera, a fortune that the emperor himself paid. After more than 2 years in captivity, Prince Halal was finally released and brought to Constantinople, the heart of the Byzantine Empire. To seal this strange new alliance forged in crisis, another incredible event took place. The young Prince Halal was married to his own cousin, Irene Pala, who was the daughter of Emperor John V. A kidnapped Ottoman prince was now married to a Byzantine princess, creating an even stronger dynastic link. This whole episode reveals so much about the era. The mighty Ottoman Sultan, a conqueror on land, had to rely on the weakened Byzantine emperor to rescue his son from sea pirates. It showed how interconnected these two empires were, through rivalry, marriage, and shared crises. But Halal's story doesn't have a happy ending. After his father, Sultan Orhan, died in 1362, a new sultan came to power, Halal's own half-brother, Murad I. Murad saw Halil, with his powerful Byzantine connections, and his 2 sons with Princess Irene, as a potential threat to his rule. To secure his throne and prevent a civil war, Murad made a ruthless decision. He ordered the execution of his own brother Halal. This practice, known as became a dark but common policy in the early Ottoman Empire to ensure stability. Halal's life, which began as a symbol of unity between 2 empires, ended tragically as a victim of the brutal politics of succession. His story is a powerful reminder of how the personal lives of royalty were inseparable from the fate of nations. In the early 14th century, a city stood as a testament to the enduring legacy of the Byzantine Empire. Nicaea, modern-day Iznik, was not just any city. It had once been the capital of an empire in exile, the host of world-changing ecumenical councils, and a symbol of Roman power in Asia Minor. But by 1331, its fate would be sealed, marking a pivotal moment in the rise of a new power. This is the story of how Nicaea fell, and how its capture changed the course of history. Our story begins with the young Ottoman state, led by the ambitious Orhan Ghazi. Fresh off the major victory of capturing Bursa in 1326, Orhan set his sights on the jewel of Bithynia, Nicaea. The city was a fortress, protected by formidable ancient walls that had withstood countless sieges. A direct assault was almost impossible for the Ottomans, who lacked sophisticated siege weaponry at the time. So, Orhan chose a different Patha strategy of patience and strangulation. Starting around 1328, the Ottomans began a long, grueling blockade. Their goal was simple: cut the city off from all supplies and starve its defenders into submission. They methodically captured the surrounding forts and villages, tightening the noose around Nicaea. But there was one major challenge. Nicaea sat on the eastern shore of Lake Ascanius, today known as Lake Iznik. This watery lifeline allowed the city to receive some supplies by boat, prolonging its resistance and frustrating Ottoman efforts. The siege dragged on, a slow, agonizing test of will between the besiegers and the besiegers. Back in Constantinople, the Byzantine Emperor Andronikos III Palaiologos knew he couldn't let Nicaea fall. Losing the city would mean losing his last significant foothold in Asia Minor. In 1329, he gathered a formidable army, including experienced mercenaries, and marched to break the sieges of both Nicaea and the nearby city of Nicaea. This was Byzantium's last, best hope to push back the Ottoman tide. The 2 armies met at the Battle of Pella. What happened next was a disaster for the Byzantines. Orhan's disciplined and highly motivated forces intercepted the imperial army. Despite their numbers and experience, the Byzantines were decisively defeated. The emperor himself was wounded in the fighting and forced into a humiliating retreat. The message was clear and brutal: there would be no rescue. The road to Nicaea was now firmly closed. The city was completely, utterly alone. For the people inside Nicaea's walls, the defeated Pelikanon was a death sentence for their hopes. The blockade continued relentlessly. Food supplies dwindled, and starvation became a daily reality. After more than 3 years of holding out, with no prospect of aid from the emperor, their will finally broke. On March 2, 1331, the city of Nicaea surrendered to Orhan Ghazi. The terms of the surrender were surprisingly lenient. Residents who wished to leave with their property were allowed to do so, though many chose to stay. Orhan, a shrewd ruler, understood that a functioning city was more valuable than a ruined one, but he also knew the importance of symbolism. He immediately began transforming this icon of Byzantine Christianity into a center of Ottoman Muslim culture. The city's magnificent main church, the Hagia Sophia of Nicaea, where the famous Second Council of Nicaea had been held, was converted into the Orhan Mosque. New Islamic schools, or madrasis, and public bathhouses were built. For a brief period, Nicaea even served as a co-capital of the expanding Ottoman state alongside Bursa. The fall of Nicaea wasn't just a military victory. It was a profound psychological blow to the Byzantine Empire. It signaled that the Ottomans were not just fleeting raiders, but a permanent, state-building power intent on consolidating their rule. The conquest was a critical stepping stone on their path from a small principality to a world-spanning empire, a transformation that began in the shadow of Nicaea's ancient walls. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into history, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more stories like this one. See you next time.